To Engineer A.G. De Gracia for passing the Mechanical Engineers Board Examination in the recently concluded Mechanical Engineers Board Examination. I don't know what's the date, but it's the latest board examination of Mechanical Engineering from Cebu Institute of Technology University. Okay. Oh my God, my alma mater also. Okay, going back to the topic, this is gonna be, oh my gosh. The topic is all about enthalpy change of reaction. Okay, ganon. O si Sotero, bakit puro kakain? You know na, okay? No need to explain. Nakakaloka. Diba? Okay, guys. I will give you sample problem. Okay? Ganon. So, asan mo ako mga sample problem? Random lang siya, guys, because I don't go over to the solution. Okay, and I need to write the problem, then I must obtain the answer without, without looking for the solution, and we must solve first, and then compare if we have correct answer. Not necessarily the solution. Anyhow, it doesn't matter whether you're showing different kinds of approach in solving the problem, as long as you get the same answer. Get the point? That's mathematics all about. The more it is direct, the more it is good because it can save your time. Right? Am I correct? Engineers. Right? So the better, the shortcut the better during examination, but the detailed the better in discussion, in classroom instruction or during your study, because you should do it in a proper way, how to solve, to project the majority, okay, understanding, not for your own self only. You get the point? Ganon. Okay. So, atong kuanon, sa mga akong gikuan, guys. Okay, enthalpy change of reaction. Wow. Ganon. So, enthalpy change of reaction, what's this all about? Enthalpy change of reaction. Okay, you can see the board. Gigutom jud ko, guys, wala pa ko nag-dinner. Charot! Enthalpy change of reaction. So first, it's very understandable the words change and reaction. Okay? You get the point? Change. So there's a change from initial to final states ganon. Okay? And then change is also difference, or what we call gradient. The gradient between initial state and the final state could either be whatever different physical quantities you are referring to, like that. Okay? And then enthalpy is just heat content. Okay, heat content. When we mean of enthalpy, right? That's why some problems also will ask, what is the enthalpy of the following compound, like that? But you are using the formula of heat. Okay, Q is equals to the mass of a substance times the specific heat capacity times the change in temperature. Okay, in Kelvin, something like that. But the question says like that, enthalpy, but you are not really sure what formula you use. You can use also Q. Q is equals to MC P dt. It depends on the situation. Because do not be dependent on the word. Do not be literal when you solve the problem. You get the point? And then you wait for the word enthalpy like this. Change over, it's just the same as long as it is heat. Sometimes energy lang siya. What is the energy obtained in the reaction? Ganon siya, but it's understood to be, the unit is calorie and joules, so that's heat already by the unit itself. You can understand the problem. Get the point? Ganon. So, ganon siya. So we have enthalpy change of reaction is also what we call as the heat of reaction. Okay? Heat of reaction. Okay, so heat of reaction. So it could be in either two ways. Okay, enthalpy of change of reaction in the product, and we can also say enthalpy change of reaction in the reactant. Okay, and then we can also finally say enthalpy change of the overall reaction. Okay. Ganon. Okay, get the point? Or enthalpy change of the overall chemical reaction. So meaning to say, it talks about the product and the reactants. So both the products and the reactants has its own enthalpy change of reaction because they will interact somewhere along the way. Okay, and then the same also heat of reaction of the product. So you should memorize, guys, the terms enthalpy change. Okay, enthalpy change and heat only. And you will add the word reaction. Okay, again, memorization. Enthalpy change of reaction and also heat of reaction. So never mind the reaction because you will just add that during your memorization. Okay, so what matters is the enthalpy of change and the heat. So you will say enthalpy of change of reaction, heat of reaction, products and reactants. So enthalpy change of reactant. Okay, enthalpy change of the product. Or you can say enthalpy change of the reaction of reactant. Enthalpy change of reaction of the product. Okay, you can also eliminate the word reaction because it's understood to be that's the heat of the reactants and products. Okay, so it depends on how you manipulate the vocabulary and or the terminology. Also, heat of reaction of the reactant, heat reaction of the product, and you can say also heat of the reactant and heat of the product. Okay, like that. And there's also another term for that, heat of formation. I will teach you first the terminology because in the problem solving it will change. Okay, it will change, it will vary. Not only that the same word we'll be using. So heat of formation is also the same as heat of reaction. If I will say heat of formation of the reactant, heat of formation of the product, and also heat of formation of the overall chemical reaction. Okay? Ganon. 3 modes. Okay, balik ko na to sa memorization. Enthalpy change of the reaction of the reactant. Enthalpy change of the reaction of the product. And enthalpy change of the overall chemical reaction. Segment number 1. Segment number heat of reaction of the reactant, heat of the reaction of the product, then heat of reaction of the overall chemical reaction. Segment number 2. Segment number 3, heat of formation of the reactant, heat of formation of the product, and heat of the formation of the overall chemical reaction. Segment number 3. So that's the way how you memorize completely or technically the concepts about thermochemistry or thermochemical equation topics. Actually, this is under thermochemistry. The combination of the studying of heat energy and the chemistry. Okay? Chemistry, the matter and the changes it undergoes. The study of the matter and the changes it undergoes. That's the definition of chemistry. Okay? So we will just combine the meaning of meaning to say that's the under thermodynamics and then plus chemistry. Okay, thermo is thermal, meaning heat, energy. Okay, got the point? Okay, ganon siya. Ano mo kalibog sa nasa tayo Hess law. So Hess law is the enthalpy change of the overall reaction between the reactants and the products. This is the Hess law. Okay, so as early as now, guys, memorize all the low, chuba, in overall science, pure sciences, because it will come out in the board examination someday, especially if you're taking BS chemistry and BS chemical engineering, because we are loaded with sciences, okay, not so much with biology, because biology are not really studying the periodic table, okay, something that we're not also really studying the bio part, okay, the zoology and the botany. We are only on the chemistry also, something like that. Okay. We will just study that somewhere along the way in our biochemistry subject and our biochemical engineering subject, but not really that rigid as the biology students. You get the point? Ganon. Okay, going back. Okay, I'm going back to the discussion mga palangga. Okay, so given the following thermochemical equation. So before going further, guys, nakalimut ko ninyo present thermochemical equation. Okay? Thermochemical equation, ganun chuba-chuchu, okay? Okay. So when I was in first year college, I'm not really that particular about the combinations chuba-chuchu. Okay, but because what we understand, chemistry only, physics only, like this. But when I become a licensed chemical engineer and I work different countries in Asia and in the Middle East, I found out, it's very enjoyable to combine, right? Physical chemistry, the physics and chemistry. Biochemistry, the biology and the chemistry. Thermochemistry, the thermodynamics and the chemistry. Like that. Okay, nuclear chemistry. Studying about elementary particles. Okay, of the atoms in the nucleus, something like that. Atomic theory. Okay, nuclear chemistry or the transmutation. Do you understand what is transmutation chemistry? It talks about different emission of X-rays, rays, beta rays, gamma rays, beta rays, like that, and the laser. The hospital's technology to use in operation. That's part of the transmutation chemistry. The process there. Laser, light amplification, simulation, emission radiation is a technique alternative of surgical operation. Okay, especially if you have chronic diseases and you undergo operations, cancer, whatever. So the knowledge of transmutation chemistry is very, very absorbed by the medical doctors. Okay? That's why I told you every time, medical science is a part of chemistry. And chemistry is the center of all the sciences. Okay? The center. Just like solar system, the center is a sun. And the 9 planets revolve around the sun. The chemistry also is in the center of all sciences. Okay, so I mentioned a while ago, right? The biology, the geology, the astronomy, the medical science, something like that, the geology. You get the point? Okay, the medical science, ganon, physics. Okay? So, tunga gid ang chemistry. Okay? So, without chemistry, we cannot take those sciences also. Blah, 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 so on. So, that's why all courses have always chemistry. But not all courses have biology. You get the point? For example, engineering students, we don't have biology in our first year college, but all students or all curriculum all over the world have chemistry. And you know now why. That's why, how relevant and significant chemistry over other sciences. You get the point? Others also, for example, College of Arts and Sciences, sometimes, or those people take up BS Psychology or whatever, or Pol Sci, whatever, they don't have also physics. For example, only I'm not really that sure like that, but engineerings have physics. Ganon. So, but chemistry, it's always be there in the curriculum. Starting from high school to college. Get the point? Physics also, but what I mean, the other courses will not repeat the physics in their college. I am correct, or maybe have physics everybody. Okay? I'm not really that sure. Basta sure lang jud ko sa chemistry mga kapatid. Okay? Ganon. So, as what I've learned, central man gyud siya sa foundation ang chemistry. So, we have magnesium solid. Okay, ganon. Hindi siya solid. Gas, chlorine, gas, ganon, is equal to magnesium chloride gas. Solid. Sorry, solid. Kailangan siya magnesium. Okay? Solid plus, plus 3 ang 642 guys. Dili na siya hypothetical ha. This is I googled this out. This is not hypothetical example. This is reality example. Okay? So 642 kilojoules. Ganon. Okay. So i-balance na po niya mga palangga. Na-balance na ba niya mga palangga? Yes, na-balance na gid siya. Charot. Okay, ganon. So the question will say like this. What is the delta H for the reaction? A, 321 kilojoules. B, 642 kilojoules. C, negative 642 kilojoules. D, negative 321 kilojoules. What is your answer? Ganon. Okay. So what is the delta H for the reaction? See, reaction ang gipangita, meaning overall chemical reaction. It's not stating the product, okay, the reactant, something like that, okay? Now we will use the delta HM, the heat formation of the reaction. Ganon. HM. Okay, ganon. Delta HM. Or enthalpy lang siya, pwede na magulo is equals to, okay, kung sa may mong buhaton ni higayon na ang iyang heat, right? Pila man iyang heat content. Okay? Ganon. Over N. Okay? So, you should know that the Q is always the energy, ha? Energy. Okay? But specifically, the heat energy. I emphasize because not all the time the word heat will be mentioned. For example, like the, oh, see here. See? What is the delta H for the reaction? It's not mentioned, only the symbol. The word HE80 is not mentioned also. Okay, because it's understood. Get the point? So energy. So it will be also changed like this. What is the energy for the reaction? Meaning it's referring to the heat. No other. It's not mechanical energy. It's not chemical energy. It's not light energy. It's not hydraulic energy. It's not pneumatic energy. It's not acoustic energy. Like that. There's different types of energy. So it's not kinetic energy. It's not potential energy. Like that. It is not a radiation energy, so it is not also an internal energy. You get the point? So it is really heat energy. Okay? If you found like this, a chemical reaction like this, ha? I-focus in yourself sa heat energy or the enthalpy change of the reaction. Ganon. Or heat of reaction. Ganon. You get the point? Ganon. Okay? So if it's gonna be this case, guys, understood to be at 25 degrees Celsius and 298 Kelvin, ha? Without question. And sometimes also, dili siya hatag ang ingon ni ani, guys. It's technique. So let's assume we are facing now the examination. Like that. Magnesium solid plus chlorine gas will yield magnesium chloride. Okay. And exothermic reaction. What is the delta H for the reaction? So you have the first clue, it is negative because exothermic. But how can I compute? There's no data involved. So imong timanan, guys, otherwise specified or unless specified, it should be always standard temperature and pressure. So meaning 25 degrees Celsius to 98 Kelvin and the atmosphere, 0 atmosphere. Really? 0 degrees, no, 1 atmosphere. Okay? Not 0. You get the point? Ganun siya, guys. Okay? So, ajud mo kumpiyansa mo, paabot pa jud mo, nga iswat ang kuan, ang temperature, understood na siya. Otherwise, not specified, then automatic use the standard temperature and pressure. Okay? So, ganon. So, since use standard temperature and pressure, then you can refer to the table in the books. No, but this not open book in the examination. So, all you have to do is to memorize but it's difficult to memorize also. More or less, they will give the value of the enthalpy change of the reaction in that case. Just like this, ihatag niya ang 642. Ganon. Okay, so how can we compare this one? Ale. Guys, kung yung gani siya reaction, guys, ha, understood po di siya, guys, na chemical reaction, the overall. Unless, yung sad siya ma, what is the delta H for the reactant reaction? What is the delta H for the product reaction? It's not specified man siya. So, that means overall chemical reaction. So, if this question was say, what is the delta H for the reaction? Meaning, the chemical reaction, the overall. Okay, because sometimes also, it will ask, what is the delta H for the reactant reaction? Because the reactant will also produce reaction. It's not only the overall, it's not only the product. So you should also be, familiarize how it is being phrased, the sentence. You get the point? Ayaw imemorya nga, mauna na siya per me. If mo ask what is the delta H for the reaction, usbon man siya. Okay, usahay. You get the point? Sometimes it will say, what is the enthalpy change for the reaction? Ganon, di ba? What is the heat of formation of the reaction? What is the heat of the reaction? So, tangtangon niya ang delta H. Okay, during the question of the future examination. Here, it's good because the delta H is being showed. It is understood. But sometimes, mag-word ra gyud nila. Statement ra gyud ba? Yung wala, naanab niya ka sa delta H, mga example, charot. So that's why you should know also. Okay, so sana ang mga symbol. Di ba? Nakakaloka. Dagan kagbantayanan. Okay? You should be, alert. Mga coding, nomenclature, symbols, acronyms, ganon. variables, okay, constants, ganon. Okay, so Q over N ta, guys. Sir, so tiri, butangan dyan din mo N ang ubos. Yes, kay mao jud na guys ang delta HM, heat of formation of the reaction. Nagyo siya N sa ubos. Okay? Nganong ma-heat naman na ma-joules naman siya sa Sotero? Because you will multiply that by the number of moles. But sometimes, dili man gud i-discuss. You got the point? Dili siya i-discuss, automatic ra og solution ba sa mga instructor niya. Cancel, ganun lang. Okay? You get the point? It should be emphasized talaga siya nga mauna siya, why it will be ganun na lang. Ganun, di ba? Ang seseta sana. Okay? But it's okay. Ganun talaga ang buhay. Charot! Okay, so Q over A, N. So we have, so now let's take a look for the stoichiometric relationship. What we mean by stoichiometric, guys? You will look for the number of moles. Ganon ha, look for the number. If I say, or if we say, look for the stoichiometric relationship, we mean there the number of moles, not the mass, not the atom. Okay, it's very clear. Or no other physical quantities. It's always the number of moles. In fact, not also the molecule. Because if you consider the molecule, we will use the Avogadro number. Okay? One molecule is equal to 6.023 times 10 to the 23. O ganon, over molecule. So, mole lang din siya, ha? Okay? It's not also an atom because if you mean of atom, that's involved balancing of the chemical equation. That's why I told you every time, in the balancing of the chemical equation, we are balancing the atoms. We are not balancing the moles. We are not balancing the molecule. We are not balancing the ions. And we are not balancing the mass. Okay? It's always the number of atoms. Dapat makasabot na ba sa atong gipadulngan para sa tuwan makuha na to sa questions in the future. Okay? Ganon. Okay, so heat. Oh, diba? So 642, positive 642 kilojoules. Ganon. Okay. If we convert this to joules, common sense times 1,000. Okay, like this, 1 kilojoules. 1 kilo is 10 to the 3 on the prefix. But luckily, we are very, very happy that this is a very, very common prefix. Okay, ganon. What is? Unsa man ang fem? 10 raised to the power 15. So, daghang kag 0, 15 ka 0. Mabuang kag suwat sa 0. Munang prefix na lang siya, guys. Okay? You got the point. Ganan. Mga prefixes, chuba, chuchu. Diba? I-memorize dito tanan from 10 to 1 to 10, 18. Especially to the examinees or that will be taking a board examination or whatever examination. Memorize all the prefixes. Sa 18 lang takutob, kay lisod na kayo ang 20 plus, ha? Okay, now sa specific value, pero when I was in college, I will never memorize that one. Hanggang 18 lang din talaga siya. 10 to the 1, 10 to the 2, 10 to the 3, until 10 to the 18. Negative side. 10 to the negative 1, 10 to the 2, until 10 to negative 18. Ganan. So put that in your brain cells because sometimes it will be asked to convert. Okay, for example, how many picometer, 2,000 meters, how many picometer? Nga. And you don't know what's the value of picometer. Things like that. Okay, again, you got a point, mga palangga. Ganon. Okay? So, muna yung hitabo. Now, mubalik, talaga itong answer niya ng higayon na. Symmetric na dayon ta. Okay, if we have 1 mole of magnesium solid, okay, and then you have also 1 mole of chlorine gas. And you have also 1 mole of magnesium chloride solid. So both of them have 1 mole. Okay? So both of them have equal delta heat of enthalpy change. Enthalpy change of reaction or enthalpy content. So if I have 642, so more na siya tanan sa magnesium, sa chlorine, or sa MgCl2. So we will just divide this by 1. So your answer will be negative 642 kilojoules. Okay? Like that. Letter C. Okay? So the closest answer is letter B and letter C. because there's also positive 642 and negative 642. But remember, this is exothermic reaction. The heat is added in the product and the heat is being released to the surrounding. So it should be negative, or meaning to say this is a spontaneous reaction. Okay, meaning irreversible chemical reaction. Okay, ganun. So if you have the result, try to connect the theory dayon para daghan kag mahibalaan. Okay, di na siya enough nga makukuha ra ka sa number, what okay ba unsa na siya. Plus na ko, when I was in college, when I obtained like this, this is exothermic reaction. This is spontaneous. Daghan kay kong i-connect sa akong brain cells. Okay? For example, na answer yung positive siya. It's going down because the energy is going up. Like, magyaw-yaw ko, maglakaw ako sa road. Char! Before mag-lunch. Really? Okay, so I'm playing with science in my brain cells. And a little bit of math. Okay, panahon sa mga chika-chika or chismis galore. Okay? Puro na yun study akong life when I was in college. Okay? Minoro po ko kayo. Kasi kubiyaw yung sa kuan for kumukaon. After kumukaon, ang sus ako. Kung brains, puro yun kuan. Ano yun, di ba? Nakakaloka. Okay, ganun siya. So, muna siya ni tabo. Okay guys, mo tanaw gyud ta. Ako nag-give na siya. Klaro na jud kay ha. We should look at the stoichiometric relationship, the number of moles. Any questions so for mga palangga? Or we need to give you another example? Okay, or whatever. Okay. So, magbuhat ko na kong example guys. Charot. Kasi magbuhat na ba ko kukuha nga question? Para lang dyan ko makakon. Charot. Okay, nakakaloka. Okay. Nakakaloka, di ba mga palangga? So, in this type of question, it's also possible that you will rumble with the PV and RT. And then the question will say like this, 25 liters of carbon dioxide mixed with oxygen, ganon. And then, the enthalpy change of the reaction is negative 890. What is the, for example, what is the concentration of the carbon dioxide? Kasi, muratag mo nga kay murag nilayo, di ba? Makuha gyapon siya, guys. You get the point? Okay, I'll teach you. Di ba, PV in RT? Okay, kuha diha ang concentration, i-apply din ang heat sa chemical reaction. So, in the chemical reaction, ang imong siya dito, ang i-reduce number of moles sa stoichiometric relationship. Since CO2 ang imong gipangita, ang stoichiometric number of moles sa CO2 ang gamita sa imong PV and RT. Now, solve for the concentration. You can get the concentration. Since this is not usually an sample problems in the college, so that's why most of the students cannot answer. Including me before. Okay, because layo kaya ng concentration. Wag ang concentration sa PV and RT, i-derive pagod nimo. And then sa topic, and the topic also of thermochemical equation, concentration is not mentioned there. It's not being touched. Always heat, always heat, always heat. What I'm trying to emphasize, it's possible if you correlate and link other topics to other topics. Okay, that's the technique of examination. Okay, so collaborate all the topics into one question in which that is not normally discussed in the formal setting of classroom instruction. This is the wide failures of all examiners all over the world. Really, okay, because we are not all genius. Okay, we are not all smart. Most of us are average only. Okay, or a little above average. Play around at lower above average. Okay? There are only few who are really superior in mental ability. Okay? So, we go to the proper way of discussion and proper understanding of the way it should be. Wow, the way it should be. Nakakaloka. Okay, ganun guys. Okay. Pwede sabihin mo siya i-mix sa katungkuan guys. Di ba, mangita na po kag kinetic energy. Oh, di ba? Ganon. So, what is the kinetic energy of CO2? Later kayo no? Atong propaganda ba ito? A CO2, 44 liter of CO2 react with oxygen gas to produce ganon. For example lang siya. Okay, then calculate the concentration with the enthalpy heat of reaction of negative 890 kilojoules. What is the kinetic energy of CO2 during the process. Oh, di ba? Nakakaloka. So, imulin ko na ng kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is equals to 1/2 mv squared. Ganon. Kinetic energy is equals to 3/2 RT. Ganon. Kay gases man. Oh, nanalik ka kinetic energy. O, di ba? I-correlate din mo ang universal gas constant after getting the temperature sa imong PV and RT. Get the point? The temperature you obtain in your PV and RT, you will use that in your KA. Ayaw paggamit sa STP. Because you have the formula man, dito man kanina ni-refer. You will just use STP if it is mentioned or if there is no other way. Na wala na dyan kapainan, wala dyan given tanan. Okay? For example, calculate the density of CO2 gas in air. Ganon. So, mapugos ka gamit sa STP. Because there's no mention of temperature and pressure, so it's automatic, something like that. Okay? So, muna siya mga technique galore. Okay? Get the point? Yan mo na, manibong ka, some of the questions, usaray given or usaray wala dyan. Pero i-compute ni mo unsay volume. Really? Diba? For example, what is the volume of an ideal ammonia with react to hydrogen gas? O diba wala siya given? So, STP da yun. O, ganon, diba? Nakakaloka. Then, i-balance na yung chemical reaction. Naman kayo number of moles nito. BNRT da yun. O, diba? Very easy, guys. Really. Easy talaga. Nakakaloka. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys, ha. Nakaingon lang ko kayo because I am a chemical engineer. So, to those who are not also chemical engineering, they don't also know well. Sorry for that. Okay? Thank you so much for liking my videos, and if you can comment my videos, you can comment also, and you can share also if you want. If you did not subscribe to my channel, you can subscribe, and you can click the notification bell for some newest updates of I Am a Singer Journal Voice. Bye bye mga palangga! Nagbinisaya na din sa June, Taglish. Thank you so much. Ano? Bislish, not Taglish. Bislish, Bisaya plus English. Taglish is Tagalog plus English, but I'm talking with Bisaya with a mixture of English language. So, Bislish. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bislish. Nakakaloka